New Year's Eve. It's supposed to be a night of celebration, champagne, and new beginnings. But for 3 people, it became the night they'll never forget, for all the wrong reasons. These are their stories. The story 1, The Countdown Stranger. Sarah 1, The Countdown A Stranger. Sarah was house-sitting for her parents in rural Vermont during New Year's Eve 2019. The house sat at the end of a long gravel driveway, surrounded by dense woods and thick snow. Her closest neighbor was over a mile away. She decided to stay in, watch the ball drop on TV, and enjoy the quiet solitude. The fireplace crackled. Outside, fresh snow muffled every sound into perfect silence. Around 10 p.m., she heard footsteps crunching on the porch. Heavy boots on old wood, then singing. A man's voice, slurred and off-key, belted out Auld Lang Syne. Sarah looked through the peephole. A figure stood facing the door, swaying slightly, wearing a dark coat and no hat despite the freezing temperature. She didn't recognize him. She stayed quiet, hoping he'd leave. The singing stopped. Silence. Then it started again. The exact same verse, same inflection, like a recording on loop. She watched through the peephole as he circled around the side of the house, still singing. She could hear him passing each window. When he reached the back, the singing stopped completely. Sarah crept to the kitchen window and saw nothing. No footprints leading away, just the ones that circled the house. Then she heard a soft tapping in the sliding glass door. Tap, 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 rhythmic, deliberate. She turned and saw him standing there, face pressed against the glass, breath fogging it up. He wasn't singing anymore, just staring. She backed away. Hard hammering the tapping continued for what felt like an eternity, but was probably only 2 minutes. Then it stopped. She checked every window, every door, all locked. She called out, asked what he wanted, no response. She made a choice she'd later regret. She didn't call the police. She convinced herself he was just drunk, confused, looking for a party. At 11:45 p.m., the banging started, violent, furious pounding on the front door. The man was screaming, "Now, let me in. I need to come at midnight." The violent, furious pounding on the front door. The man was screaming now, "Let me in." Sarah grabbed her phone and ran upstairs, locking herself in the bathroom. She called 911. The operator stayed on the line while Sarah whispered every detail, every crash and scream echoing through the house. Then she heard glass shatter. The small basement window. He was inside. Footsteps on the basement stairs. Slow, methodical, coming up. Sarah stopped breathing. The footsteps reached the main floor and stopped. Silence. Then sirens in the distance, getting closer. The footsteps rushed back down, scrambling, frantic. By the time police arrived 3 minutes later, he was gone. They found the broken window, muddy footprints throughout the first floor, and a bloody handprint on the kitchen counter. They never found him. Sarah installed a complete security system after that. She's never house sat again. And she can't hear Auld Lang Syne without feeling sick. Zuri 2, the party invitation. Marcus lived alone in a townhouse in suburban Atlanta. New Year's Eve 2020. Most of his friends had COVID concerns and canceled their plans, so he decided to order takeout and stream a concert. Around 9 p.m., someone knocked on his door. 4 quick raps. He checked his phone. His food wasn't due for another hour. Through the peephole, he saw a woman in a sparkly dress, heels, full makeup. She was smiling. She knocked again and called out, "Hey, we're having a party next door. You should come." Marcus didn't recognize her. The unit next to his been vacant for months. He cracked the door. Chain still on. "I think you have the wrong place. Nobody lives there." Her smile widened. "Not next door. Upstairs. Unit 304. Bring whatever you want. Doors open." She turned and walked toward the stairs. Something felt wrong. Her dress was sleeveless. It was 35 degrees outside. Marcus closed and locked his door. 10 minutes later, another knock. Same rhythm. He lifted the peephole. The woman again, still smiling like she'd never left. "You coming or what?" He didn't open the door. "No thanks, I'm good." She stood there for a moment, then leaned close to the peephole. "You sure? It's going to be a night you'll never forget." She walked away. Marcus checked the building directory on his phone. Unit 304 didn't exist. The building only went to 303. He heard footsteps above him pacing back and forth directly over his living room for hours. At 11:50 p.m., his doorknob started turning, slowly, testing. He'd locked it, but someone was trying. He grabbed a kitchen knife and called 911. The turning stopped. He heard running multiple sets of footsteps, pounding down the exterior stairs. When police arrived, they found his doorknob smeared with some kind of oil or grease and a crowbar abandoned on the stairwell. No one in Unit 303, no one in the sparkly dress. Marcus moved out 2 months later. He still doesn't answer his door after dark. Story 3, the Resolution. Jennifer celebrated New Year's Eve 2021 with her sister in a rented cabin in the Poconos. Midnight came and went. They toasted, laughed, went to bed around 1 a.m. At 3:17 a.m., Jennifer woke to the sound of the front door opening. Not breaking. Opening. Like someone had a key. She heard whispered voices. Multiple people. Moving through the downstairs. She woke her sister, and they locked the bedroom door. Called 911. The whisper stopped. Footsteps on the stairs. The doorknob rattled. Then a voice, calm and polite, "We know you're in there. This doesn't have to be difficult." Jennifer and her sister pushed a dresser against the door and climbed out the second-story window onto the roof. They could hear the door being forced open as they dropped into the snow and ran barefoot down the mountain road in their pajamas. A passing car picked them up and waited with them until police arrived. The cabin had been ransacked. Bags packed with their belongings sat by the door, ready to be loaded. But the intruders were gone. Police found evidence they'd been watching the cabin for hours, waiting for the sisters to fall asleep. They'd used a key later discovered to be a copy made by a maintenance worker who'd been fired weeks earlier. Jennifer doesn't celebrate New Year's Eve anymore. She says every countdown just reminds her of those seconds on the roof, wondering if they'd make it. 3 nights. 3 nights. 3 nightscapes. Lock your doors. Check your windows. And remember, not everyone celebrating the new year has good intentions. If you survive something like this, share your story in the comments and subscribe because the next video might just save your life.